Today, we're going to be talking about the new BDU. Wake up, babe. The new BDU just dropped. Now, if you're not familiar with BDU, that was essentially a subscription service that got you access to better pricing on a lot of stuff, particularly pertaining to people like us. Now, of late, you've probably seen a few posts. This is pretty hot, pretty new. It's called FDC, and that is at least put on and promoted by Brandon Herrera. So FDC, or Firearms Direct Club, let me scroll over to this page, is essentially, as they say, we provide access to our wholesale firearm distribution network, allowing all members to buy directly from the distributor, eliminating the retail middleman. Join the club for only $12.99 a month, which is not a terrible monthly fee, depending on how good the prices are. Now, we'll go through this video. We won't watch the Vimeo one. I actually had to download it or rip it and edit it a little bit because there's a little bit of stuff in there that YouTube might not like. Not a problem with the video itself, just YouTube problems, right? But essentially what they give you is to wholesale pricing the founders of FDC. Now, I looked into who actually owns the company, and I did find the owner, but nothing really about him. So that's kind of up in the air as of right now of who's actually behind this, because there does have to be some money behind it. So the founders of FDC have been in the traditional retail space for over 20 years. We have always strived for excellent customer service while maintaining the lowest prices possible, but we realized that there were advantages and disadvantages to the in-person retail store. As the head of running a retail store has skyrocketed over the last 20 years, we have made it our mission to find an option for customers who don't need the in-store person or in-person experience for accessories, let's say, type of stuff that we like to buy. They want the lowest possible price on everyday items, not just a doorbuster or blowout deal. This led us to create Firearms Direct Club, our membership site that is designed to cut out the middleman and let the everyday person buy like a dealer, tactically acquire gear at wholesale rates, all sorts of interesting stuff. So we'll go through some of this. Again, it's essentially you need to buy in. So this is the unsigned in version of the page if you go to FDC right now. Now, to be clear, let's get some other stuff out of the way. Much like BDU was pushed by a lot of YouTubers, you're going to see this also pushed by a lot of YouTubers with some hesitancy. Now, on their website, they already have an affiliate program. I am not an affiliate of them. I'm not going to accept any sort of affiliate program from them, but you will probably see some people start to push this more and more on YouTube. Again, this is hot. So as of right now, I'm not familiar with anyone else pushing it. I've only seen a couple ads from Brandon Herrera himself, who is not the owner. So I do want to make it very clear. I have no idea what Brandon's relationship with FDC is, other than he is either a founder, co-founder, or literally just the front man for the operation, because he has a big audience and he has, a reputation that he can, sell for money, essentially. And that sounds really bad, but anybody who has a big audience, they can sell access to that audience for a lot of money. And I think Brandon's top 5 gun tubers in the world right now, I want to say. It's basically BDU 2.0, but maybe even a little better. Now, I've been looking into this since last week. I actually had just some random commenter, never seen this guy before, and he commented, hey, you should look into FDC because Brandon Herrera is talking about it. So I did, and that led us to this stream. Now, this shouldn't be a very long stream whatsoever, probably about an hour in total. And then Wednesday, we're still planning on having PSR on the show. That's the plan as of right now. So let's go ahead and we'll actually listen to the video. Now, again, this is a rip and edit video. I think it's like 3 seconds shorter because there's just a couple things in it that YouTube doesn't like. It might also not be particularly loud because of the ripping software, but just bear that in mind. But let's go ahead and listen to the sales pitch.
Hi there, I'm Brandon Herrera and welcome to Direct Club. Have you ever wanted to buy ammo, optics, accessories at the prices that stores buy them for without having to open your own store? Of course you have, and you've come to the right place. FDC is a club that allows you to buy directly from vendors at zero markup.
Now that is very important. Zero markup, right? That's a pretty... Nick says he can't hear it over his grinder. Yeah, sorry, man. That's the downsides of working while you're listening to a stream, sir. But yeah, essentially zero markup. That's the claim, right? Zero markup whatsoever.
Vendors at zero markup. Actually, zero markup.
I'll make that deal.
For a low monthly fee, now you can buy directly from our vendors on the back end without having to deal with middlemen. Now, it is still a site, so there's a little bit of red tape. Don't blame me, blame the feds. You'll still have to ship to your local FFL dealer for a transfer, but ammo, optics, accessories, anything like that can ship directly to your door as long as it's legal in your state. But when I say we cut out the middleman, we really cut out the middleman. You even have...
Now, by cutting out the middleman, they are now the middleman. And I thought this would be interesting for me to at least look into the company a little bit, because I actually have access to real dealer pricing on just about everything that they have on their website, because I am a dealer, right? So I actually have the actual websites that these guys are then pulling from and putting up on their website, and they're acting as the middleman. We'll get into the business a little bit later on, but instead of, the retail store marking up, there's essentially like, it's free. There is no markup, but you got to pay the doorman to get in here to get access to the no markup stuff. So we'll talk about that stuff later.
Have options on the back end to choose which vendors you want to buy from, the quantity available, and the price from each. Meaning you truly do have the options that a store would have on the back end to buy inventory. So go ahead, sign up for your free trial and see for yourself the over 100,000 products that you can buy directly without all the markup. Sign up for FDC, cut out the middleman, and buy like a dealer.
Anyways, so there's that. Let's go. So on their actual website now, they have some interesting stuff with their terms and conditions, the subscription fees, and all that sort of thing. So as he mentioned, and as we'll kind of verify, that there is either no markup or very, very little markup on all these products. I did check into this a little bit earlier. There are a few products that have different pricing than what I could get, usually a little worse. But I can't say that they're just going to a slightly different dealer than I'm going to, right? So, but on a lot of the products, like it's within the margin of error. It was either pennies difference or no difference whatsoever. But we'll get into that in a little more detail. So on this is their contact page. Of course, they don't list any emails or names or anything on here. Very little information about who's actually running the company. Some of the terms and conditions, this is really boring stuff that most people just absolutely skip through and never read unless you're special. Now, very interesting. If we scroll down to here, you must not republish material from Firearms Direct Club. Sell, rent, or sublicense material from Firearms Direct Club. That one there's very understandable. Reproduce, duplicate, or copy material from Firearms Direct Club. That's not enforceable because a lot of their stuff is also copy and paste, so that's literally meaningless. Redistribute content from Firearms Direct Club. Again, they don't have, or they have very little original content, as we'll get into later on, so their stuff is also redistributed. Also unenforceable. This agreement shall begin on the date hereof. Now, I am a free member of FDC. That's how I got access to it. I signed up for a free 2-day trial so I could show you guys some stuff. So I will absolutely get banned from this service. They will find whichever email address that I signed up with and then get rid of me. But that's fine. So that's what they'll do for that. I don't think there was anything else super different comments and whatnot, hyperlinking to it, use of our corporate name. Of course, you can't do that. Reservation rights, disclaimers. Okay, nothing else particularly interesting there. Okay, subscription terms. So how, if FDC is not marking up the products, how are they making money? Well, as of right now, the price is $12.99 a month, free 2-day trial, so you can kind of just see the pricing, see if it's worth it for you. And then after that, $12.99 a month in perpetuity. Now, $12.99 a month is not very much money, especially if you're saving, let's say, $30 to $50 per product, which on some of the products, it'll actually be substantially more than that. In some cases, I've seen hundreds of dollars versus like trying to buy at retail because the prices are good, but we'll get into that a little later on. So the $12.99 a month fee is actually not terrible. In fact, I'd say it's quite good. Now, I couldn't find the other ad that Brandon had done, but there was an ad in which he said that the first 2,500 people will get that price locked in for life. So what that says to me is that the price is about to increase. So if I had to guess, the price is going to go from $13 a month roughly to 20 to 25, somewhere in that range. And even at that price, if you're buying stuff regularly, you'll still be saving money. And the only thing that they'll be pocketing is that monthly fee, in theory. But we'll talk about some of the problems because again, BDU tried this and failed for a variety of reasons. Now Brandon and FDC are trying it, and in theory, they might be successful. We'll have to see about that. So subscription terms. FDC offers a single subscription tier at a rate of $12.99 per month. Billing occurs 30 days after the date of each subscription, so 12 per month, plus or minus a few days. Not a big deal. Month to month, no minimum commitment period, so you don't have to buy a year or anything like that. 2-day trial, that's what I'm on currently. Again, they will have a affiliate process. These are available through their affiliate links. Valid credit card, blah, 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 blah. Charge the full monthly rate on the 3rd day for the 2 trial. Now, auto renew is enabled by default. So this is one of those that if you sign up for a month and forget about it, you'll get billed $13 forever, right? And that's how they make the most money because they don't want you to buy anything. Every time you buy something from them, if there is truly no markup, they lose money, even just on payment processing, right? So even if it's something as low as like 0.8 or 0.5%, if you're buying a couple $1,000s worth of stuff every month, you're actually costing them more money than your monthly fee is worth. So for them, it's much better if you don't buy anything. Just give them the $12 a month or $13 a month or $20 a month, whatever it ends up being. Now, you can, of course, cancel your subscription at any time. Cancellations are effective at the end of the current billing period. So that means that if I got billed 2 days from now or tomorrow, I could still use it for 30 days, which is nice. No refunds for partial months. That's all fine. You can't account share outside of the same house. All that is fine. CCA payment schemes going to change the term. Oh, here we go. So any changes to pricing or subscription terms will be communicated via email. A minimum 30-day grace period will be provided for members to make account changes. So If you sign up for this, I would check your email, because if you think that it's $12.99 a month, $13.99 a month, whatever it happens to be right now, that will most likely go up. Now, of course, they are legally required to notify you of price changes ahead of time. They're giving you 30 days. So monitor your email so it doesn't go up to something ridiculous. All right, termination of service. Yeah. Selling access and sharing protected pricing. Yeah, so termination of service. 12. This is me right here. Sharing protected pricing information through any physical or digital means, which is what we're doing right now. So you cannot talk about it. You can come in, you can pay the door fee, but you can't talk about it, which I think is a little silly. Of course, people are going to talk about it. All right. Now, this is another interesting one. So, thank you for taking the time to read this. At FDC, we do things a bit different, and it catches some people off guard. We promote transparency in our operations and would like to explain clearly and directly our policy on returns and refunds. Our policy can be summed up in a single sentence and then merits some explanation. We don't do traditional returns or refunds, right? And as we'll get into this, I think they mentioned this in a minute, they really don't stock anything. They are essentially a buffer website between you and a bunch of other retail websites. Most of the stuff, or not most, but I should say some of the stuff, the best stuff is that what they can drop ship from dealer website direct to your door. That's where they can make the most money. We provide access to wholesale vendors, just like having your own FFL minus the overhead. Vendors do not allow us to return product just because we don't like it, like what we ordered, or because we changed our mind. As we are allowing the users of FDC to enjoy the perks of buying at direct wholesale sale cost, there are challenges to be aware of. So yes, if you buy something from them at a reduced cost, they're not just going to accept it because, oh, I don't like it anymore, or something like that. Of course not. Now, the benefit is if you did truly buy it at a reduced price, you can probably turn around and sell it for exactly what you paid for it, or maybe even slightly more. Yeah, please note, products that are not damaged cannot be returned or exchanged. It is your responsibility to confirm that you are purchasing the correct item prior to hitting the submit order button. Now, they still have damage against, damaged products or missing products. So if it says it delivered, but it never did, all that sort of like normal stuff that's kind of not common, let's say. They still protect against all that sort of stuff. Damaged firearms, simply don't accept it from your FFL. If it's damaged, as soon as you accept it from an FFL, then it's yours. So don't do that. Bottom line, this is not Walmart. You are not paying retail for gun parts. You are paying the same price the local gun shop pays for the same parts. This forgoes some of the comfort afforded in a standard retail shopping experience. Returns are not accepted in the traditional sense, and exchanges are only available for identical items if the original was damaged at or before delivery. So that is that. So shipping timeline. This is where things get very funky, and what helped to kill BDU was shipping timeline. Orders are typically processed from vendors within 1 to 3 business days, with a maximum of 5 business days during peak periods. Now, if you give BDU Freudian slip there. If you give FDC $300, they turn around, they give that $300 to vendor number 1, and then vendor number 1 doesn't ship product for 2 weeks. You angrily call FDC like, hey, I need my $300 back. FDC then has to go to vendor number 1, say, hey, I need that guy's $300 back. And maybe that happens, maybe it doesn't. And so if a lot of people do that, or if you start getting a lot of shipments delayed, that is where you can very, very quickly run into big, big problems. Now, non-drop shipping manufacturers. Some manufacturers do not allow drop shipping to end users. HoloSun is a big one. HoloSun does not allow drop shipping. They must go to FDC first. Now, I sell HoloSun products. I sell certain optics. I do not, I want to be very clear because I also sell optics. Not a problem to sell optics, not a problem to sell at a reduced rate. I do all those things, perfect. I don't drop ship anything. If you look at my optics page on my website, it says 5 to 10 days lead. That is because everything comes to me first. I inspect it, and then it goes to you. That helps you ensure that you get a product that's actually working and the correct product. So it all comes to me first. You save $20, $30, $50, $100, whatever it happens to be. I make a couple bucks, and everybody's happier, except the difference there is you just wait like an extra 5 days for delivery, right? So that's what happens if you buy an optic from me. From them, in the best case scenario, there's no markup, just the $13 a month, right? Or whatever that ends up being, and then they ship it directly to you. In theory, all of that is good until shipments start getting delayed, and then people are out a lot of money, which is, again, kind of what happened to BDU, and then BDU stopped paying everybody. So in these cases, products will be shipped to FDC's facility first, then forwarded to the member or their chosen FFL dealer for firearms. Orders from non-drop shipping manufacturers may incur higher shipping fees and longer transit times because, of course, it has to go to them first and then to you. So they're going to pay a little bit more money. So that's why I haven't actually checked that part yet. Maybe we could check that in just a minute. But, if they're charging you 20, 30 bucks for delivery on certain products, when maybe shipping charge is only 10 bucks or something, they can make a little bit more off of shipping as well versus just the monthly fee. So there's all sorts of ways where you can scam a little bit, or not scam, but you can scam a little bit of money here and there, right? Just to make sure you're not losing money. Because that's the big thing. You can't lose money unless you got some really big, crazy backers. Now, this is just some background stuff. I'm not sure how interesting this stuff is to you guys, but essentially, you can look up. This is all public information. I've redacted everything that could be problematic, but this is, again, all public information. If you just look up who owns Firearms Direct Club LLC, you can find their EIN number. You can find the date filed was December of 2022, and then it came effective in 2023. So it's already been around for a year. Probably just doing stuff in the background while they figure out how to launch things, building the website, et cetera, et cetera. They are based out of Pensacola, Florida. They have a registered agent, of course. Chris technically is the owner/manager of the company. And again, all of this is public information. Anything that could be damaging, I personally redacted. This is just much the same thing. You can see that Chris is the owner. They're based out of Pensacola, Florida, and they own Firearms Direct Club. Now, you don't need to go looking for that information. It's public and not particularly interesting. So the money behind it, the people behind it, no idea. And I also don't know Brandon's personal relationship with it either. Because from what I've checked so far, the HoloSun products, the EOTech products, mostly optics, which is mostly what I'm into, the firearm parcels, I did also check like LWRC, Daniel Defense, a few other of the big guys, all really good pricing. Now, you're not going to be able to find everything on there. But again, the pricing that I was able to find was essentially 1-to-1. The pricing is good. So let's go through some potential problems, let's say, right? So why did BDU fail? Well, the McKnights were never particularly good or interested in firearms. They did some stupid stuff outside of the business, like participating in gun buybacks, not being really pro 2A like you think a pro or a 2A company would be, right? You would think a 2A company would be very pro 2A, but a lot of these guys aren't. And so when they do stupid stuff like that, it means they lose a lot of members. Now, you need members with this program, absolutely. So I do believe that $12.99, that initial price, is not going to last. I absolutely believe that price is going to go up. They're going to try to increase their customer base to, probably the goal might be like anywhere between 100,000 or more, because you probably need $1 million a month just to, one, pay people, because you got to have people in your warehouse because you're having stuff shipped to your warehouse. You also have to pay for all of the fees, other stuff associated. So I would imagine they probably want about 100,000 people signed up for this. And then as people leave, after, you're going to get a lot of signups with the first free trial. And then like 50% of those are going to stick around. 50% of those guys are going to stick around after another month. You're always going to be fighting attrition. So I would expect you guys are going to see this pushed from a lot of other places. And here's the thing. As long as everything is running smoothly, this is a great service. But as soon as they start having problems, it can fall apart very quickly unless there's a lot of money behind it. So there are some issues there and some fees included. So now, problem is, especially a supplier can really screw somebody like them over. So for instance, if you take $10,000 worth of customers' money for a specific product, the vendor says, yep, we're going to get that to you next week, bud. And then 4 weeks go on. The people that gave you $10,000 are like, or let's say like worst case scenario, like BDU, $100,000, $500,000. They're like, hey, we need that money back. Like, you haven't shipped us our product. You said it was going to ship on time. You told us in your shipping policy, like 5 days maximum for processing during peak season. Why is it 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, 4 weeks later, so on and so on. Right. So now FDC has to go back to that vendor, and that vendor's like, listen, buddy, you signed on the dotted line that said that we have variable shipping times. So you need to cool your horses, and we're keeping your $10,000, right? So BD or FDC in this case either lose subs because people are like, I never got my product, I'm canceling my subscription, which happened to BDU. Once they started to lose and bleed a lot of subscribers and people stopped pushing them because of these bad experiences that people were having, it fell apart really quick, right? It was probably only like a 3 to 6 month window between like where people started to notice some problems and like the almost complete collapse of the company. Because once things start to go bad, you're only making $13 a month. You're very, very low margin. So you need things to go good for a very long period of time. And I don't know who's really behind all of it. So I don't know if they have a lot of cash backing it. But let's say, just for reference, they had $1 million in cash sitting in the bank so that if customers come back with a problem with a vendor, you can take care of your customers, sort it out with your vendor later on, and not ruin the company, right? Because that's basically what happened to I'm getting them mixed up, BDU. When you essentially have a run on subscriptions, everybody's canceling their subscriptions. You have no more money coming in. You can't fulfill your promises to your advertising agencies, which is why they just stopped paying Leviathan Group and then got millions of dollars in the hole. You couldn't deliver products because you probably couldn't even buy the products from vendors. Vendors start canceling your accounts. All sorts of horrible things can happen. But FDC, in theory, could be good. So do I recommend you personally check out FDC? There is a 2-day free trial that you can check out. I think you could just go to their website and check it out. And you can get some pretty good pricing. Like literally one-to-one dealer pricing. When he says it's not marked up, as far as I can tell, that is absolutely true. So if you're just looking at pricing or you're looking at getting something, it could be a good time to save a couple $100. They're not going to have everything on there. I have different dealers for different things because not everybody carries anything. I think they have 4 or 5 vendors for their stuff. But again, you're still going to have to go direct to certain companies to actually get their products. So they're not going to have everything on there. Maybe it's worth checking out for a couple of days though, because again, if you're about to buy something, let's say a Holosun laser or a D-Ball D2, you were about to drop $1,800 or $1,900 map on it. Well, you can save yourself a couple $100 by getting it from FDC if they actually ship it to you. So is it a scam? Like the title, the question mark, is it a scam? No, as of right now, it's not a scam, right? It's not old enough to know if it's a scam either, right? If things start taking months to ship and people are getting ripped off, then we can have that discussion later on. But put a pin in this. As of this moment in time, it's okay. Not a problem. As of this moment in time.